Hello everybody and welcome to this brand new push house here in Lake Placid. When we last raced here in the World Cup 2019, it was just a hole in the ground. It is now a fantastic three-story training and hospitality facility here in the heart of the Adirondack Mountains. And we are here for the Push World Championships. All 6 of our Olympic disciplines will compete, and they will all be running for a $1,000 check. Winner takes all. Well, this is such a key facility for training athletes. The option to race from the start on ice at any time of the year. Now, for any nation, this is a massive opportunity, and the US team have been making full use of this in the last 18 months. 5 years in the planning, 3 years in the building, and the building is now complete and hosting its first event. Well, after 2 qualifying runs, our athletes have been cut to a field of 10. They will go in reverse order, and it is Yuncheng of China who has a 0.14 of a second advantage at the head of the field. So our 4 runners just checking that everything is working to make sure that the lights all the way down the track are recording their time. Very straightforward, fastest start wins it. And then as they slide up towards the end of the run, they'll put the brakes on if they're in a bobsled, or use their spikes if they're on the skeleton sleds where we start. And the sled will then be brought back to the start. Now the deal here is that everybody uses the same sled. There is one sled for our male skeleton competitors tonight. Tomorrow night, the women's skeleton will also use the same sled as each other. And in the monobob and the 2-man races that we'll see tonight, the athletes will all be using the same sled. So there is no performance advantage in equipment. So the first time ever outside of monobob, we have parity of equipment. So the rules are very straightforward. All 3 runs count, and that means that after the first 2 heats, our field has been cut to 10. Austria's Alexander Schlintner will go off first. Yang Wengang of China. New boy Nick Tucker from the USA. He is the first of our American athletes, perhaps vying for a top 3 position, a Kwasi Frimpong. Matt Weston, surprisingly 2200s back, the British slider, one of the fastest starters, and Felix Keisinger, 1400s off the lead. So they have everything to do in this final run. They've got to overcome our first and second heat leader. We'll see some of our female skeleton competitors. They'll be racing tomorrow evening, along with the women's bob and the 4-man bob. But tonight, it is men's skeleton that kicks us off. So first of our athletes to go, Austria's Alexander Schlintner, held on to his top 10 spot after the first heat with his second getaway. And for most of these athletes, it's just a chance to get a little bit more push start practice, and that's something that is often hard to get other than on dry land training, pushing a weighted sled. To do it on ice is a very different discipline. And we've only had 2 World Cup races so far this season for these athletes. Some of them have been also racing in a North America's Cup, so some have been racing for about a month or so already, but for most of them, we're only a couple of race weeks into the season, and the opportunity to dash for the cash, literally, is never to be missed. So $1,000 on hand for the winner of our men's skeleton competition, a $1,000 check also for the winner of the monobob, and $1,000 tonight will be given to the fastest starters in the two-man competition. So it'll be per sled. So here we go. Alexander Schlintner first up. And this is going to be over very fast and furious. It's just the start. No corners, no other racing. It's all about the getaway. And if you've got the pace, then you need to use it now. Let's see where we go. 9.9 is the accumulated time. And his third start is a 4:91. 44.6 kilometers an hour at the end of the run. So 4:95, 4:97, and a 4:91. So he goes 600ths of a second quicker. And our forerunners will take the sled back as our leader comes into the leader's box. And Alex, you can watch the start. Tell us about this track. What does it feel like? What other track does it feel like?
You mean on the push track or the ice track?
Yeah.
I mean, this push track is awesome. The ice track is my first time here, never been here. But it's funny. I mean, it's a fast track with short curves and you know what I mean.
All right, well, congratulations on making it into the top 10. Well done. Hang on here, because you are now our leader. And there's a minute to go until the second of our sleds. See the coaches there. Patrick Singleton just making sure that there's no bits of broken ice in the groove. Athletes using the same sled. So next up is the first of our two Chinese athletes who made it through into the top group. Yan Wengang, Olympic bronze medalist from Beijing 2022. And his advantage after two pushes, 800ths ahead of Alexander Schlintner, but Alex went 700ths quicker in his third start. So is the ice warming up a little bit? Is there a bit less friction? Or did he just find even more pace? Well, different athletes will suit different starts. Some will be better, longer, flatter starts where they can really build up to maximum speed, and some have a little bit more explosive power. Yan Wengang, and you saw him once in the World Cup last year. He spent pretty much the entire season back home in Beijing training up on that Winter Olympic track, and it worked well for him now. Looked a little hesitant getting away. Let's see what he's got. Total time, 14:83, he finds a little bit more as well, so 4:86. That was his fastest start. So Yan is our new leader, and we'll say goodbye to Alex. Thank you very much indeed. All right, well done, man. So Alexander Schlintner offers his congratulations to Yan Wengang, our new leader. Well done, congratulations. All right. So let's take a look. Yeah, little stumble at the start. And then let's take a look at the load. That was pretty smooth. You got a little cut on your chin from the ice.
Curve 7.
All right. Very good. All right, so Yan Wengang is our leader. 2 down, 8 to go. And next up is Team USA, a new slider. So new name to conjure with. All right, 2 sliders in, and already both of our first 2 have gone quicker than their first heats. So we'll have to wait and see what that means for the rest of the field. Next up, Nick Tucker, 27 years old, 3 North America's Cup races in his career. Started 2 years ago, or last season, from Baltimore, Maryland. And another track and field athlete coming into the US program. So let's see how fast the 27-year-old's legs are. Made his debut 2 weeks ago in Park City. Let's see what he's got. Yan Wengang, the current leader, 500ths of a second in it. So Nick Tucker eases his way into the lead. So we have a new leader.
Good run.
Wow.
Great run.
So our new leader, apologies for the audio problems, Chen Wenhao from China moves into the leader's box. Congratulations, how are you?
Good. Thanks, you.
So our new race leader, midway through this final heat, Chen Wenhao of China. Let's take a look at the run again, talk us through it.
Oh, so nice.
Is this the kind of start that suits you? Do you like a long start or do you prefer a short start?
I would say middle. Not too long and not too short.
All right. Everyone likes to run, but not too far. All right, the new race leader. Let's see where we go. So the gaps are pretty tiny. Austin Florian from the USA is next up. "28-year-old North America's Cup gold medalist in Whistler, just pre-World Cup season. So career high in Whistler, 6th place finish despite popping the sled out of the groove on one of his runs. So Austin Florian, 6th place, but the gaps here below 4th are very tight. So this could be a big move for Austin Florian. So Chen Wenhao, our current leader. Austin with a 485 in both heats so far. He needs to be there again to hold the lead by 200s, 484. Just brought it in. So here's our new leader. Austin Florian takes the lead. Fastest run of the competition so far for him.
Yeah.
Man, 484.
Yeah, it's all right. Having fun. It's just a good fun event. Happy to share our new ice house with everybody else.
Well, it is kind of like showing off the new toy because this is such a huge facility for the US sliding community, for bobsleigh, for skeleton and luge.
Yeah, it's been a really awesome treat having this to train all summer, and I'm glad we are able, once I catch my breath, to compete with everybody and show everybody our awesome new facility and all the work that everyone's put into it.
It is a little bit unkind to get you to sprint and then make you talk. Yeah, I know. All right, so into the top 5. And the gaps here are pretty tight. I mean, does knowing the start make any difference at all?
A little bit, not much though. It's foreign, it's a different sled, it's a sled no one pushes. It's a weight that is in between most weights, so neutral sled, it just makes it an interesting playing field for most people. But yeah, it's a fun event.
All right, so next up will be Great Britain's Lawrence Bostock as we head into the top 5. 300ths of a second the advantage. Now, we'll often see races won or lost by smaller margins, but Lawrence with 300s in hand. And honestly, the way this has been going, everybody seems to have found a fraction more pace in their final push. So he needs to do the same again. So race being run exactly as the start of a normal race would be, except nobody has their own sled. They're all using the same sled. So here we go, Lawrence Bostock. 300s in hand. Is he going to take the lead from Austin Florian? 600s, 481. So that is his fastest push so far. finds an extra 0.03 of a second over his American rival. It is Lawrence Bostock who takes the lead, and we have 4 to go. Don't forget, the money goes to just one slider. So Lawrence Bostock, the new leader with 4 to go. Kind of a crazy new setup for everybody. And next up, Kwasi Frimpong. Lawrence, I know you're going to be pretty breathless, but did that feel okay to you? You found a few more hundreds?
Yeah, it's fun. Should do this more often.
Well, we need a few more tracks with push tracks, but yeah, it's definitely something that has always been enjoyable. It's been a long while since there's been a Push Championships. Last one was in Calgary back in 2012. So a long while since we've done this. Long time since we've seen this man on the block under cameras as well. Kwasi Frimpong, originally born and bred in Ghana, and then moved to live in the Netherlands, moved then to the US, studied here in Salt Lake City. He's now living in Salt Lake, big favourite of our Dutch TV crew. So I'm sure he would have been a pretty happy man yesterday to see the Netherlands, or a couple of days ago, see the Netherlands go through. A bit disappointed to see them knocked out of the Football World Cup. That delight's still to come for Team GB. Tomorrow against France, potentially, I suppose. Probably talk about that later. Joe Cicchini there in the black jacket at the side. Big mover in North American coaching. Zach Land also been coaching Kwasi. He lives in Lake Placid. Kwasi's been doing the North America's Cup races. He's had 2 very good starts so far. Let's see how it goes. Lawrence Bostock cheering him on. 484, 483, his 2 starts so far. He needs to be 481. 481 by 100th of a second. Wow. So he hangs on to his lead by 100. This is going to be very tight. All right, let's take a look again at the replay. So, how does it feel? How was that third push for you?
It's good. I got better with each run, and that's what I'm looking for, to show that I can be consistent. That has been hard in the past. That's what me and my coach talked about, and I was able to deliver that today. So,
man, your speed is coming up and up and up.
Yeah.
This could be a top 3 finish for you. So.
Yeah. I wish all the guys the best, and we've done what we're supposed to do. I'm here. I can prove that I can work with them the first 50 meters. I can be there with them. Now I got to do the rest of the mile down the hill.
Well, you had a pretty good weekend last weekend, didn't you? So top 4 finish.
Yeah, actually I took bronze.
Yeah.
I took a 3rd and a 4th, and so that was great for my country, Ghana, to actually have a medal in a winter sport event, which is pretty unique.
Man, fantastic. We're rooting for you, but also got to root for this man, Matt Weston. Again, one of the favourites coming in, I'm sure, one of the fastest starters on tour. And I think a lot of people probably expected it to be between maybe him and Felix Keisinger, another real powerhouse starter. The Olympic champion is here. Christopher Grote there, he's here watching but not competing. He's having a week to rest his legs. But he had the fastest start in 3 of the 4 heats in the Olympic Games and won the gold medal, so he could have been in for the money. 2200s off the lead. Weston needs a huge start, and then he needs a little bit of help from the gods as well. But is he going to take 3rd place? Kwasi had a great start. He does. That's a big run. 471. That is a big start for Matt Weston of Great Britain. Quick shot. Quick stuff from Matt. And unusually, having to hand over the sled, it's a little bit of a bizarre routine to get used to. All right, we'll take a quick look at that again with our leader. Top 3 finish guaranteed.
Oh, it was a bit better. The first one didn't have a good push. Just wasn't in the correct technique. That one felt quite nice, nice and smooth. But God, our skeleton athletes really aren't fit, are we?
Well, listen, you know, you bust a gut. It's a 50-meter dash. I mean, that's a you know, a signified, ratified indoor distance. So, you know, it's a proper sprint distance.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling myself that as well. But I mean, usually people recover a little bit quicker than this. But I mean, it's been good fun so far. I've really enjoyed the event. Thank you so much, IBSF, for putting it on. See what happens.
And we've got to thank our friends at Order as well, the Olympic Regional Development Association. They're the people that have put all the money into this Olympic region, into the biathlon centre that's here at Mount Van Hovenberg, into the bobsleigh track, into the new roof at the start, into the new changing rooms that are coming, into this fantastic 3-story facility. And they are the people who are supplying the money to the winners. So who is going to be our winner? We have 2 to go. Great Britain's Matt Weston is the current leader, and he can hang around with us in the leaders box. Second after the first 2 heats, Felix Kaisinger. Well, Kaisinger, 1400ths of a second back. Again, like Weston, needs a huge start. Matt Weston, 471 his last start, 472. So the gap comes down a fraction. Is that enough? Well, Kaisinger has the lead, but 1 to go. So he needs a little bit of luck on his side. So final athlete to come. We have our top 2 heading in. Right. Let's take a look at the replay. How did that start feel?
Quite okay. I had like a little problem at the end of the run. You'll see it now in a couple of seconds here. It was like my body did like a U, and I wanted to go on the sled like a little bit more, like with more speed. But it was okay, quite okay.
You spend a lot of time before the season starts on the push tracks in Germany. How does this compare in how it feels? Is it shorter? Does it accelerate faster?
I think it's like quite the same. I don't think that there's a big difference. But I like it. It's like typical American with a little bit more show and like that, and I really like it. It's cool.
Good stuff. All right, so Felix Kaisinger is our leader, but the final sled on ice, Yin Cheng of China. Now he has produced 2 huge starts here. 1400s is the advantage over the first 2 runs. You can see his teammates alongside. Women's skeleton will be competing tomorrow. And women's bobsleigh and the 4-man. They have a 4-man push sled here as well, so that is going to be a real beast on this start. Here we go then, Yin Cheng of China. $1,000 check is waiting at the bottom for Yin Cheng or Felix Kaisinger, whose name is going to get written on it. 1400s advantage after the first 2 runs. It was nice and clean, and he adds another 400s. A 468 run. Wow. So a 67, a 69, and then a 468 for Yin Cheng of China, the 2022 World Push Champion in men's skeleton. Congratulations. Well done, congratulations. All right, let's take a look again at the replay. Did the start feel good?
Yes, I feel good.
3 really good starts. So our winner, the first World Push Champion of 2022 here in Lake Placid, Yin Cheng of China. And after the first run, it was always going to be tough to beat him. So now we'll get the flowers and the important part. Jos, if you want to come in and present it. Turn around, show it to the camera. $1,000 for Yin Cheng of China. He is our men's skeleton world push champion 2022. So congratulations to him. And the first run is done. The second run is done. The final run is done. He is our race winner. So congratulations to Yin Cheng. 1800's the final advantage over Felix Kaisinger, with Matt Weston in third. Kwasi Frimpong, another good start from him, in fourth place, ahead of Lawrence Bostock, and Austin Florian just 200s ahead of Chen Wen Hao as well. So some very tight groups. And congratulations to all our athletes. Thank you to everybody who joined in from the men's skeleton competition. We're now going to risk near certain disaster by getting in on the ice for some celebratory photos. And that is it for the men's skeleton competition. Don't forget, we'll be back in a moment. We have the women's monobob and the two-man bobsleigh push still to come.
Everyone's grabbing all the women are howling, running. Everyone's rushing. All the saviors are frowning.
Whiteface, Lake Placid. The winter sports capital of the world, home to 2 winter games, countless homegrown Olympians, 4 world-class venues for recreation and training, and the greatest vertical east of the Rockies. Dream bigger. Visit Whiteface Lake Placid.
What's on your mind? What you gonna do next? This is what we do best. I can't deny it. What's on your mind? What you gonna do next? This is what we do best. Let us dive into the night, doing fire before my eyes. I can't deny
The sport of bobsledding has come a long way from its origins, especially the way they start the sleds. The 1932 Olympics, athletes pushed off the shoulders of their sitting teammates. Then in the 60s, they had push bars for the athletes, and they even started to put tacks on their sneakers for grip. Then in the 70s, Adidas came up with a shoe that revolutionized the sport, and now the way the athletes enter the sleds is called choreography on ice. And when you don't, it doesn't look pretty.
Est-ce qu'il y a une demoiselle là, qui est volontaire pour un petit baptême? 6, 5, 67. Vainqueur de la Coupe du Monde en Bob à 4 en 87 et vainqueur en 93 de cette même Coupe du Monde. Dans quelques instants, tous ensemble, c'est l'avant-dernier Bob, l'avant-dernière poussée de ce 3e Grand Prix de Monaco. Messieurs, les Américains, quand vous voulez. Allez tous ensemble, vous allez taper dans les mains et peut-être un nouveau record. Ils le détiennent pour le moment en 5,47. Ils l'ont signé ici à la même heure, pratiquement il y a 365 jours. Ils vont pousser pendant 40 mètres et 275 kg de ce Bob. Les États-Unis, allez, on les encourage. 5,51. Oui, nouveau record. Nouveau record de la journée pour l'équipe.
So this 2009 Bell House World Championship boils down to one final sled. 1959. Not only the year I was born, but the year that 2 states were added to this union. Long, long time ago, when the Americans last won gold at the Bobsled World Championships. USA won. Stephen Holcomb, Justin Olson, Steve Messler, and Kurt Tomasevich looking to put an end to that drought. And John, they have a huge lead.
Eisenhower was in the White House. Lee Petty won the inaugural Daytona 500. It was a long time ago, Tim. Their first oval tracks is all getting in the start. They don't need the 4:99 start time they had in the first round. They just got to get in. Get down. Don't move. Okay,
5:01.
That's conservative for that. That's not conservative. That's awesome. That wasn't a conservative start they went for. Here comes the first of 5 places of the track. Quiet on the exit 3. Devil's Highway is moving. Devil's Highway where we saw the Monty Guest crash. Quiet again. No head. Slack. Exit 8. Now he's to get over on the right side here to 12. He gets to 12. 8 Timmy's accelerating away. This isn't even conservative.
Perfect here on the chicane, so the mystery is over, the suspense is over, the drought is over. Now moving on the fastest run of all 4 heats, it's the only question remaining. They do, and they win this competition by nearly a full second. USA with the gold.
everybody, and welcome back to the Ice House here at Lake Placid in the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York as we get ready for the second and third Push Champs disciplines of our evening. We've seen a men's skeleton competition one, and now we have the women's monobob and the two-man bobsleigh coming up. So this brand new facility has been open just 12 months. Millions of dollars have been poured into this facility, to this track, to the bobsleigh track, to the biathlon competition area, and also to the ski jumps by order, the Olympic Regional Development Association. So the women's monobob, well, this is going to be a small field, but still $1,000 for the winning athlete, and that means that it's going to be very well worthwhile. Looking here at the sled that they will all be pushing, so it will be the same sled for the monobob and also for the two-man bob. So everybody gets exactly the same sled, same ice, same equipment. This is just about the human element of the sport. No driving. So here we go, our first of four athletes, and it's a new name for World Cup fanciers. This is 12-year-old Lauren Brzezowski from the USA. From New Jersey, a track and field athlete who has only just really recently started her career, took gold and bronze in the monobob races in the North America's Cup here last week. That was her third of 3 wins this season, so a couple of years driving, and on the North America's Cup, Brzezowski is having a fantastic start to the season. Well, this fast-developing sport, the women's monobob, gives the female athletes 2 medal attempts at the Games and at the World Championships, and it also allows us to bring in smaller, newer nations who don't have the big backup for a 2-man or 4-man. Total time from the 3 heats. Big, strong sprint start. Where are we going to be? We had 470s from our skeleton sliders, 584. Well, that should be a pretty competitive benchmark. She looks happy with that. And this is the weird bit. Everybody is used to pushing off and going downhill, but unless you spend a lot of time in an ice house, the turning round and rolling back up again bit, yeah, that's just plain weird. So she hops out with a bit of assistance, get the sled back to the next athlete. Let's take a look. Nice low heel return, good drive. Body as near parallel with the ice as possible, really just getting all of that effort going forward and no lifting of the sled. Nice quick load. Next up is Lisa Buchwitz of Germany, 28-year-old. She might be our joint favourite here. Olympic champion back in 2018, pushing Mariama Yamanka. She's been driving up a storm this season, silver medalist in Park City, 2-time Olympian. And Lisa, a massively powerful break athlete. And that's why she's so successful, as well as her driving abilities. 5.80, 400s quicker than Lauren Brzezowski. And around she goes and back down the hill again. And again, our assistant, you can see, waiting there to help push the sled back up. So Lisa Buchwitz of Germany, second of our starters. Again, watch the drive. I mean, classic brakeman stuff. Diving into the sled, hauling on it with the arms. She did get it up in the air a little, so there is more speed to come from Lisa Buchwitz. That was an 84. She could get down to an 80. Our third slider then, Keisha Love, 25-year-old. Only just started driving, 2022 Winter Olympian. She raced in women's bob with Kaylee Humphreys. 2 top 4 finishes here in the women's monobob last week. Very good starts, 5.83. So 300s behind. Game on. More weight to heft in this sled than in the skeleton sleds. So there's more likely to be variation here. Keisha right in there. See, the coaches are still videoing the starts as well. Every iota of information that goes in here is going to be really important as these athletes progress. Every start is a vital one. Now then, Cynthia Appia, 32-year-old from Canada, Monobob gold medalist in Whistler, the season opener. She drove women's monobob and the two-seat sleds in Beijing. So she may be the powerhouse starter. Cynthia Appia with it all to prove. Got to get below 5.80. What does she do? 5.77. All right, we've got a tight race on our hands. 0.03 of a second quicker than Lisa Buchwitz. Her Canadian teammates there in the grey hat, Bianca Reeby, who won the monobob race, the season opener in Whistler. Lots of Canadian athletes and coaches there at the top of the track. You can see a sea of red. And of course, our last push champs were in the Ice House in Calgary. So Cynthia Appia, nice technique, no lifting of the sled at the back off the ice, really good long drive. And that final power step as she steps in. So having started our monobob competition, it is 3 pushes for each team. And we now have our men's bobsleigh. So this is the 2-man, and tomorrow we will have the 4-man competition. So first of our sleds, 29-year-old Eric Gilson, Viana Geronimo and Edson Ricardo Martins, both former brakemen. They both pushed for Edson Bindliati in the games in February. And Eric Geronimo starting to drive this year, 29 years old. Edson Martins, his brakeman, been his teammate for a number of years. 5.04 start for them. Now turning 2 round in the sled takes a little longer. And of course, tomorrow evening we'll be turning 4 men round in the sled. Everybody really wants to know where they're going. And then they run it back up to the top. So unfortunately, Frank Del Duca and Martin Christofferson, who was due to start with him, have not entered the competition. They've been scratched by the coach. We have 2 teams out. Kim Jin-soo of Korea also is a last-minute scratch, which means that our second team, well, there are some Canadians at the top. There's lots of red on that side, red and white from the Swiss team as well. And there is just one of our Swiss crews entered. Former brakeman Seaman Friedli, now a driver for the last few seasons, 2-time Olympian. 2018, he braked for Rico Peter in Pyeongchang. 2022, he competed as a driver himself. So he's been competing as a driver for the last 4 years. Behind him, Sandro Michel, 26-year-old in his 5th season as a brakeman for Switzerland. And Seaman Friedli, no question, one of the strongest brakemen in the business. So no driving skills required. The Swiss cheering him on. Good fast load. 5.04 is the target, 5 flat. There we go. We're going to be in the 490s before the end of this. Right, look after Ilko. We've only got one of them. All right, so 5 flat. Not the most coordinated hit. Brakeman had already started the sled moving. The handle was moving away from Seaman Friedli when he hit it. Now that may be the way it's intended. And he vaults into the sled. Plenty of room here compared to the narrow opening of a regulation 2-man sled. And of course, it's long enough for 4 bodies, so very easy to get in for the 2 men in this competition. Next up from the USA, Jeff Gadbois returned to the World Cup squad this season. World Championship team bronze medalist in Whistler in 2019. And Manio Mitchell behind him, brand new brakeman, a London Olympic Games 4x400 silver medalist. Manio Mitchell, a very fast sprinter indeed, and a 5.14. So that is the 3rd fastest start so far. Well, in the ice house, as everywhere else, you have athletes sprinting at their maximum potential on ice, on tiny spikes, and the potential for misloading is always still there. And Jeff Gadbois got himself in and down. Next up, first of a pair of new teams from Jamaica, Selwyn Morgan, 29 years old, and his 29-year-old brakeman, Rolando Reed. Selwyn started driving in 2014. And Rolando, his first 2-man races were last week here in Lake Placid. So a veteran on the front, ooh, got in, but luckily he's not having to steer because the grooves go all the way up to the finish here. 5:41 getaway. So a whole new team for Jamaica. A driver that we've not seen driving on the World Cup, Selwyn Morgan, and Rolando Reed, 1 race weekend under his belt. Look at the extension and the low heel return though from the brakeman. Great technique. Oh, and Rolando Reed gets in nicely, but Selwyn Morgan on the front handle. That was a little uncomfy. So 4 sleds in, and the fast time, a 5 dead from Switzerland's Simon Friedli and Sandro Michel. Next up is Austria's Markus Treichel, the 29-year-old 2-time Olympian. Born and bred in Innsbruck, Austria. Parents work at the track at Eagles. Marcus Sammer behind him, another huge Olympic brakeman, 3-time Olympian. Raced for Austria in the games in Sochi, Pyeongchang, and in Beijing, and a 5:10 puts them in the frame. 3rd best run so far. 0.04 of a second separate the top 2, and they are in 3rd place. So let's take a look. Driver starts on the front handle, and that means that there's never a lack of cohesion. It means his hands aren't going to miss the front handle. It's personal preference whether the driver starts from the block alongside the brakeman, half a step in front, or on the front handle. Simon Friedli, the leader then, from Edgar Geronimo. Markus Treichel lies in 3rd. Pat Norton of Canada, a name we've not yet seen on the World Cup. The 30-year-old former brakeman started driving after the World Champs in 2019. And Kenny Pindo behind him, 27 years old, started braking bobsleds in November. So 2 brand new names to us. And a pretty decent start for the 2 of them. Let's take a look again. Driver starting from the block, Pat Norton. Ken Pindo behind him. And the brakeman has made 1 two-man North America's Cup race start. Our second Brazilian team, Gustavo dos Santos Ferreira, just 20 years young, competed in the Youth Olympics in 2020, 6 two-man races since then. Rafael Souza da Silva is brakeman, much more experienced. 5:10, 3rd fastest start. Rafael, the brakeman, started back in 2015. He's been with Edson Bindliati's team for a number of years. And he was on the sled with which Edson took a bronze medal here in the four-man last week. But it's Gustavo dos Santos Ferreira, the brakeman, former youth Olympian, 20 years old, and that is the third best start in the field. That's great news for Brazil. Finally, Chris Horn of the USA with Adrian Adams behind him. Chris Horn from Pembroke, Massachusetts. Started the sport in 2018, former decathlete and brakeman. Brake for Hunter Church in the 22 games. And has started driving in North America's Cup, and the fastest start, 4:96. That is a huge, huge start. Hunter Church and Adrian Adams. Beg your pardon, Chris Horn and Adrian Adams. Hunter Church, Martin, you idiot. All right, that's my mistake for the day. Here we go. Two very powerful brakemen, one now a driver, and Adrian Adams, look at the back. Absolutely blasting away from the block to go 400s quicker than their rivals. So, first heat of the two-man competition. Chris Horn leads by 400s from Seaman Friedley. And it is the Brazilians in third place. So Brazil and Austria tied 1400s back, but 800s cover the top three. And you sense that is where the money is going to go, isn't it? Somebody in those three. Horn and Adams, Friedley and Michel, or Geronimo and Martins. That is as close as it's going to get, I think. Now, whoever has the best of the second starts could really make the big difference here. Seaman Friedley's start was good. Looked like it perhaps wasn't quite as synchronized as they might have wanted. But, all right. Well, this is the most recent of a number of Push Championships held, and it all started back in Monaco, courtesy of the bobsledding Prince Albert, who created the championships in Monaco. On the harbour side, used by the Formula One racetrack. And a very familiar name to bobsled fans, Brian Scheimer was the man with his crew from the USA who was best placed to take the gold medal at the end of the final heats. A very different deal to the ice house, pushing the sled on rails. And you can tell it's a year or two ago, not just from the framing of the picture, but the quality of the shortage on view. So again, a short, brutal push start in the heat of a European Monaco summer. But Brian Scheimer and his crew, now watch the load here. They had to get in below a bar to make sure they were in the sled. It's the ugliest load you'll ever see, but it was fast enough. Into the tyres at the end, bodies all over the place. And victory for the USA. Well, the noise you can hear is the snowblowers clearing the track. John Napier, the track boss, leading the team that's clearing this track. This is his newest baby. So here we go into heat 2 of the Monobob competition. And they go in reverse order of their performance after the first heat. So Lauren Brzezowski for USA. First time on TV, so hi to the folks back home. Let's see what she can produce. 5.90. All right, another strong start from Lauren. And around we go and head back down the hill. So 4.84 in the first heat, 4.90 in the second. Athlete from New Jersey, not far away. Actually it is, it's about 4 or 5 hours away probably from the OTC Olympic Training Centre here in Lake Placid, where she currently resides. Next up, Lisa Buchwitz for Germany. 0.04 of a second advantage. There are very small gaps here. 0.04 of a second, we say it's like it's a big margin in a start. It is half the time it takes the human eye to blink. Here goes Buchwitz, Olympic champion 2018 with Mariama Yamanka. It's largely because of her starting power that Yamanka was competitive. 5.73, 5.73. That is 0.07 of a second quicker than her first push. She likes that. Well, she may not know the time exactly, but that will have felt good. Yeah, there you go. Let's take a look. Okay, this time no lifting of the sled off the ice. That is great technique, as you would expect from somebody who has spent so many years pushing sleds from the back handles. And Lisa Buchwitz puts herself right back in the frame. She was never out of it. Next up, Keisha Love. As a brakewoman, made her Olympic debut in Beijing in February. As a driver, she currently competes in the North America's Cup. Keisha with a 5.77, drops behind Buchwitz by 0.07 of a second. There you go. Anything other than sheer perfection may not get it done. But you've got to get all 3 runs right in the pocket or it's not going to happen for you. This is very tight indeed. US teammates watching on. So Lisa Buchwitz leads after the first 3 sleds, but Cynthia Appia started 5.77 in the first heat. Let's see what she can produce now. Canadians bringing noise with the rattles. Appia, one of the fastest push starters in the business. 5.77 first heat, 5.76 second heat. But she drops behind. Lisa Buchwitz moves from 3rd to 1st with her second push. So all bets are off. That is 2 heats done. And we do not have a clear winner yet. 400s now cover the top 3. 700s cover all 4. So we move on swiftly now back to the 2-man competition. We have a tie in the women's monobob. But first up is the first of our 2 Brazilian teams. This is Eric Geronimo, 29-year-old, 2002 Winter Olympian with Edson Bindliati, as was Edson Martins, the brakeman. 33 years old, Edson. Won the 2-man competition with Edson Bindliati just a week ago here in North America's Cup. 5.03 start. They started 5.04 in the first heat, so they find 1 more 100th of a second. Every fraction helps. And the more you do it, the faster you will get. The more efficient the start. And don't forget, Edson Martins on the back was starting with Edson Bindliati in the 2-man and 4-man last week. So these 2 pushing together for the first time in a competition of any kind. Next up, Seaman Friedley currently lies in 2nd spot. Friedley started 5 flat in the first heat. Look at the turnover that the driver's got. 4.99, finds a bit more. finds a bit more, but is it going to be enough? Very short time for these athletes to recover between the pushes. Normally in a bobsled race, you'll have at least 30 minutes, often getting on for an hour for the fastest starters who tend to have the fastest runs between pushes. Here, it's about a 10-minute break. So on the third start, that's where we may see some more differences opening up. Jeff Gobbois and Manio Mitchell from Team USA. 1400s from the lead. Let's see what they can produce. First start, a 5:14, left them in 6th place. 5:18, a fraction slower. So third best start so far in this second heat. A little more coordinated, I think, in the second start. Gobbois getting to that front handle just as the sled starts to lose its inertia. The brakeman does the heavy lifting at the beginning there. So Manio Mitchell just cracking the sled from the ice, and Jeff Gobbois hitting that front handle as well. That's the coordination that you need to get all of the muscle moving the sled as quickly as possible. Next up, Selwyn Morgan and Rolando Reed from Jamaica. Let's see how they go. 5:23. Well, that is a big improvement for these guys. Their first start was not fantastic, 5:41. So they find nearly 2/10 of a second. We'll often say that 3 or 4 hundredths is a decent improvement in a second push, but they found 2/10 of a second. So maybe just a little bit more coordination in the hit, just getting that pace right. And great to see Jamaican men's bobsledding back on our screens. Can't wait to see how these guys progress. Austria's Markus Treichel is next up with Markus Sammer behind him. Treichel, a 2-time Olympian, Pyeongchang and Beijing. Sammer, a brakeman in Sochi, Pyeongchang and Beijing. They've had their best 2 World Cup results in the last couple of races. Markus Treichel and his crew in 2-man. First start, 5:10, 4th fastest. Can they whisker in under that? 5:12. Couple of hundreds slower. Big smile, as ever, from Markus Sammer on the back handles. He's been such a great servant for Austrian bobsledding, particularly with Benny Meyer and now with Markus Treichel. And I'm sure his aim will be to get to a 4th consecutive Winter Games in Milan Cortina. And that would be an exceptional career for Markus Sammer. Markus Treichel now leading the bobsled attack for Austria. Simon Friedli, the leader, by 800ths from Eric Geronimo. Next up, Team Canada, Pat Norton and Kenny Luketa Mpindo. 2 new names for our fans online. Unless you read Sliding on Ice a lot. Hello, Ken Childs. And keep up with the North America's Cup results. You won't know Pat Norton, 30-year-old brakeman, started driving a couple of seasons ago. These two finished in the bronze medal position in one of the North America's Cup 2-man races here in Lake Placid. His 27-year-old brakeman, Kenny Luketa Mpindo, started racing bobsleds in November. So next up then, Gustavo dos Santos Ferreira and Rafael Sousa da Silva. youth Olympian Gustavo on the front handles, just 20 years old, and looks every inch a fast starter. 5:12. They started 5:10 in the first heat, and that drops them to third equal with Marcus Treichel. So Seaman Friedli leads. Eric Geronimo of Brazil is second, and his teammates are third, tied with Marcus Treichel and Marcus Sammer. So Brazil with two of the top four sleds right now. Now then, Chris Horn and Adrian Adams. Big start from these two American athletes. Horn brakeman for Hunter Church in the games in February. Adrian Adams looking to earn his place on the Olympic team in 2026 on the back handles, but these guys with the fastest start, 4:96. Can they go quicker? 5:02. 100th is the lead. Wow. So they lead by 100th from Seaman Friedli. Third place, 900s back, is the first of our Brazilian sleds, and then 2400s back. Brazil and Austria tied for fourth. 100th of a second in it. Chris Horn and Adrian Adams, fastest start in the first heat, and they come up a couple of hundred slower in the second heat. The gap is down to 100th of a second with one run to go. There in the blue jacket, leading the blowers, is our track manager here, John Napier, former US bobsled pilot. And look at that, 100th in it. That is super tight. And what about the Brazilians in third and fourth? That's a fantastic performance from two crews who have not pushed together before. Jeff Gabwa in fifth, and there will be more work to do. And don't forget, there'll be tired legs. They have already done their first two hard push starts. Normally that would be a day's work. Now, the final one that takes the money is yet to come.
Shelly-Ann Brown for a €1,000 prize. Her teammate looks on. Brown, it's close, 600ths. The best speed on the left, 38.1, she wins. Shelly-Ann Brown has captured the €1,000 prize here. The sport of bobsledding has come a long way from its origins, especially the way they start the sleds. The 1932 Olympics, athletes pushed off the shoulders of their sitting teammates. Then in the 60s, they had push bars for the athletes, and they even started to put tacks on their sneakers for grip. Then in the 70s, Adidas came up with a shoe that revolutionized the sport, and now the way the athletes enter the sleds is called choreography on ice. And when you don't, it doesn't look pretty.
What's on your mind? What you gonna do next? This is what we do best. Let us dive into the night, throwing fire before my eyes. I can't deny it.
Everyone's grabbing, all the women are howling, running, everyone's rushing, all the saviors are frowning.
Hi, I'm John Napier. I'm joined here today with Tony Carlino. Sliding sports has been a part of Mount Van Hoevenberg and Lake Placid history since 1929. This track originally opened on Christmas Day of 1930. We have since had the honor of hosting 10 World Championship events and 2 Olympic Games. And now, Tony?
John, thank you. It's great to be here. As we all know, Lake Placid was awarded the 2021 World Championships. However, due to the COVID, it was requested of Lake Placid to move the World Championships 21 to Europe for the safety of the athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators. Lake Placid worked hand in hand with the IBSF to achieve this goal. However, I am here today to reaffirm our bid and reaffirm that bid for 2025.
We look forward to welcoming you here for the 2025 World Championships.
Hello, I'm Mike Pratt, President and CEO of the New York State's Olympic Regional Development Authority. We're in Lake Placid, and we can't wait to welcome the International Bobsled Skeleton Federation back here for the 2025 World Championships. We've made a lot of improvements. We've got tremendous facilities, great natural resources. The people make it special. And let me go to the top of the track here so you can see one of our special people, John Napier.
Here we are up at start 1 of the Mount Van Hoevenberg sliding track. And we have the expanded start deck area that's going to house all the sleds and the teams. This is important with the inclusion of the Monobob sled events and the para-bobsled events to have enough room for the teams, officials, and athletes to do the work they need to do. We also, as promised, have improvements to our start area warm-up area. There's improved lighting and an improved surface up here. Here we are in the push track of the Mountain Pass Lodge at Mount Van Hovenberg. As you can see behind us, here is the push track. The push track will be available during the World Championships as per IBSF approval for the athletes and the competitors. This facility is state-of-the-art and will have state-of-the-art timing and premier ice conditions. The 4-lane sprint track surface that you see below us is a nice Mondo surface. It is 70 meters long with 2 walkback lanes. And now you see the VIP area. This area looks onto the push track where you can see all of our athletes training for the upcoming race. This area will be available to all the alumni of the sliding sports. The 2025 World Championships will mark 95 years of sliding history here in Lake Placid. Now I think it's time for us to hear the perspective of a few of our USA sliding sport athletes.
I hoped to one day be a world champ, and I would love for it to be on Lake Placid ice. So who knows, you might come knocking on my door, you might see me out here pushing for that. But I think that regardless, you'll see me out here to support and to just kind of cheer on Team USA and the Lake Placid community. Like I said, it's like a second home here, so they'll always have my support.
Well, when I'm in Lake Placid just hanging out, the food is unbelievable. Some of the best restaurants that I've ever been to, and there's numerous restaurants and breweries that anybody can go and enjoy at any time of the day. There's beautiful hikes in the Lake Placid area. There's great cross-country ski trails. Whiteface Mountain is only about 30 minutes away. The special thing about Lake Placid, and now with the facility here, is that this is the ultimate outdoor experience in North America.
As the world champion from 2012 here in Lake Placid, which is the last time we've held world championships here, I really look forward to having it again in 2025 on home soil as a U.S. athlete. I think, bringing it back to America is going to be so vital for our sport.
USA Bobsled and Skeleton is extremely excited to partner with ORDA to bring the world championships back to Lake Placid in 2025. This is a great experience to engage in our community and bring spectators out to the event. It's an opportunity for us to put on an amazing World Championships and really showcase the upgrades that have been made to the facilities here in Lake Placid.
Lake Placid is a town that is steeped in its winter sports history and its sliding history here at Mount Van Hovenberg. We look forward to having you back here at the 2025 World Championships.
Welcome, world. We're ready.
Say she won't be happy with the silver medal.
No, said that to a press person on Thursday. Gold is the only color she's looking for.
As John mentioned, you go back to 1965 to find the last time Great Britain won gold at the Worlds. And now Nikki Minichiello and Jillian Cook will look to do just that on the Hans Hildebrand sled, going for the gold medal here at the Worlds.
Unbelievable story. She won a silver medal at the 2005 World Championships in Calgary, shocked everybody.
Competitive start. We didn't expect one of the fastest, but 5:68, pretty good.
How clean she wasn't there. Clean here. Now watch this exit of 3. If she's clean here, Tim, look at this. These are quiet driving lines up top of the track. She's been the best driver in the competition to date. Now her next challenge is going to be shaky. If you see her right around that Lake Placid sign, that upper runner in Lake Placid, perfect.
And exit here. 1/10 of a second up. Very good speed, 63 miles an hour. Good sign right now.
Now she's got it, Tim. Sideways in the chicane is her last nemesis. Now, perfect lines. She won this with driving skills. Congratulations to Nicola Minicello right here. This is Great Britain winning a two-man women's bobsled medal. It's unbelievable.
USA silver, but gold by a huge margin for Great Britain #1, Nikki Minicello and Jillian Cook.
Whiteface, Lake Placid. The winter sports capital of the world, home to 2 winter games, countless homegrown Olympians, 4 world-class venues for recreation and training, and the greatest vertical east of the Rockies. Dream bigger. Visit Whiteface Lake Placid.
Not hearing me? I don't know why not. You are now? You are now, okay. Okay, here we go. Just cue me when you're ready, I can hear you. This is what it's all about, $1,000 per athlete. So one of these checks for the winner in our women's monobob competition and one for each crew member in the two-man bob, in the women's bobsleigh and the four-man bob. So we're going to give away another $3,000 this evening. We've already given $1,000 away to China's Ying Qing, who won the men's skeleton. Well, our first forerunner is already on the ice. We are getting ready for the start of the competition. Okay, so here we go into the women's monobob. First of our competitions for the bobsleds on this Lake Placid starters track. This fabulous new ice house. And it is Lauren Brzezowski who goes first for Team USA. They're going in reverse of their current standings. Started 5.84 in the first heat, 5.90 in the second. This is where we get to see what the third start takes out of the legs. An 88, so in between the two starts. Good job for Lauren Brzezowski of the USA. Now she will bring the sled up to the finish. And one of our young sliders here from Lake Placid will take it back down. So we'll take a look at the replay. A 5.88, that's a pretty good getaway. Give Lauren a moment or two to get her breath back as well. And tidy the hair. So what about this crazy competition?
Man, this is nuts. I was going to say it's pretty cool because it's cold in here, but first time making my debut here and couldn't be happier.
All right, well, it's great to see you. Nice to meet you. We've not seen you yet on World Cup. So how long have you been pushing sleds?
This is the start of my third season, so not too long.
And you've spent the summer here in this ice house, basically?
Yeah, no, I heard it takes like 3 years to get really good at pushing, so I wanted to make the most of it.
All right, our current leader then is Lauren Brzezowski of the USA. And next up, Keisha Love, her compatriot. Keisha pushed Kaylee Humphreys in the 2022 Winter Games. And again, a third consecutive start within the sort of time span that you would normally not have done your second one. It's going to take a little bit out of the legs. So 5.83, first start for Keisha. Brought it down to a 5.77. It looked like a better hit, a little bit more what we expect from her. Away we go. No assistance on the front handles, no driver in this. It is just the monobob, so single athlete. 4.77 was her previous 5.79, so 5.77 rather. So a 79 puts her in the lead by 23 hundredths. USA 1-2. We say goodbye to Lauren from the leader's box. Oh. And rather not according to plan, Keisha heads back with the sled. Well, let's take a look again at the start. Digging in deep, the change of hand, so important to get those arms out straight in front of you. Driving low and fast off the block. So Keisha with a 5.79 third push. And that leaves two athletes remaining in the dash for the cash. Keisha Love, the leader from Lauren Brzezowski. And Cynthia Appiah was our first round leader, but she was out-dragged by Lisa Buchwitz, the 2018 Olympic champion. Not in monobob, but in women's bobsleigh. So two exceptional brake women, two huge powerhouses on the back of the sleds. See the Canadian men and their bobsleigh and skeleton athletes who will be competing tomorrow. She's going to need a big push. 700's in it after the first two heats. All three heats count. So Cynthia Appiah 5:77 in the first heat, 5:76 in the second. Here we go, bringing the noise to the top of the track here in Lake Placid. This start house, all the noise on the line. Cynthia Appia going for gold. She needs a huge start. Had a 77 and a 76 in the first two runs. Where does she get to? An 81. All right. Okay. Now we see where we are at the end of this run. So Cynthia Appia out of the sled and heads towards the leader's box. And that's a routine that does not happen here normally in the ice house. Normally in the ice house, you roll back down to the start and give somebody else another go. And a third start in, 30 or 40 minutes for Cynthia Appia. She is really working hard. So lots of noise at the top of the track as our final sleds come to the line. But Cynthia Appia with the lead. 3 starts in such a short period, you don't normally have to do that.
No, this is definitely out of the ordinary, but I'm having so much fun right now.
All right, let's see where we get to. So Cynthia led after the first heat. Fastest push in the second round was Lisa Buchwitz of Germany, the 2018 Olympic gold medalist, pushing Mariama Yamanka. And she also competed in the Beijing Games, as did Cynthia, so she was in Yamanka's sled again, out of the medals, and now driving herself. Mariama Yamanka retired after the Games in Beijing. So here we go. Less than 6 seconds to win $1,000. She needs to produce the caliber of run that she had on that second push. It is going to be very, very close indeed. Nothing between them. It is a one-push race. Lisa Buchwitz or Cynthia Appia, who gets the cash? Wow, a 5:71. What a beast of a push. Lisa Buchwitz. All right. So an 8-0, a 7-3, and then a 5.71. Lisa Buchwitz. Right.
Deutsch?
Yeah, we can do Deutsch. I can ask in German, you can talk in German too. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Lisa. 3 pushes, that's tough.
That's really tough. Ja, der erste Push war nicht so gut bei mir. Da habe ich ein bisschen am Abriss verkackt. Ja, dafür war der zweite und dritte sehr gut, aber die Pause ist sehr kurz gewesen.
Yeah, first push, she said, wasn't so quick, 5.80, but the second and third one's much better, so much where you wanted to be. And as a result, for the winner, the flowers, and for the winner, $1,000. Congratulations. Lisa Buchwitz is our women's Monobob champion. Yeah, very tough, very tough. Okay, wir gratulieren Sie, Lisa Buchwitz, the gold medalist, the champion in the Lake Placid Push World Champs in women's monobob. And very quickly, we will be heading to the final runs for the 2-man bobsleigh as well. Yeah. So here we go. 8 teams from 6 nations in the final of the men's competition, and it is pretty tight. Now the results after 2 heats have given us a very tight top 4. Be interesting to see exactly where we get to. Well, the athletes are on the ice, and the athletes are on the ice at the finish area as well, because Lisa Buchwitz is just having a quick photo. So here we go. First of our two-man competitors is on its way. So we need to get up the top of the ice very quickly. Here come the Jamaicans. Great to see them back. Selwyn Morgan and Rolando Reed. A 5:21 start. Well, that is their best of the competition. Great stuff from them. A 5:41, and then a 5:23 and a 5:21. So the Jamaicans are back, and that is a great start from them. Again, you can see in the replay, didn't quite have the coherence that they would like to see at the start, but a 5:21, 0.2 of a second better than their first push. And again, these guys are coming in here puffing and blowing like we're in Park City because you guys don't have to do 3 sprints in 30 minutes.
No, we don't do that stuff. We 100 meter and we're good.
And then another 100 tomorrow.
Yeah, and another 100 tomorrow. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, you are the leaders. Next up then, we've got Canada. And again, 2 new names to our World Cup team lineup. We haven't seen these guys sliding in the World Cup. Pat Norton and Kenny Lukato Mpindu. So brakeman Pat Norton started sliding after the World Champs in Whistler. And his brakeman here, Kenny, started in November, so the beginning of this season. So we're talking a very new lineup and a brakeman who has done, well, half a dozen races. Mind you, our Jamaican duo aren't exactly any more experienced. Rolando, the brakeman, only started his first race last weekend here. So Canada with the advantage on time after the first 2 runs. Are they going to hang on in front? They do by a 1/10 of a second, a 5:29 run. So they lost ground in the second and the third push to our Jamaicans, but they hang on just. And again, 1/10 of a second, we make it sound like a big deal in push starting, but 700ths is the blink of a human eye. So we're talking tiny increments of time. We'll get the Canadian guys to come in and join us in the leaders box and say thanks to the Jamaicans. It's a very different technique, isn't it, from pushing a race start, because the sled feels different and you don't even have to worry about getting in properly.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a blast being out here with the frame sled and, you know, working in the ice house again with the guys. We've got a brand new crew of rookies, so to be able to get out here and practice some race starts in race conditions has been a lot of fun.
And how does this compare to the ice house in Calgary, which I guess you're more familiar with?
Ice house in Calgary, I feel is just like shorter compared to here, and then even the crowds like louder too as well. So it was nice as well too. So yeah, so just like fun times for sure, definitely.
Yeah, when you're training, I guess you feel like nobody loves you. You're just on your own, grinding it out. And here, yeah, a bit of noise from the team at the top. Okay, next up, in 6th place after our first 2 heats, the USA's Jeff Garbois, with Manio Mitchell behind him, another new brakeman. We often lose athletes after the Olympic Games and we gain more, and that is the new cycle. Birth and rebirth. Manio Mitchell, London Olympic silver medalist in the 4x400 metres. Garbois, 28-year-old world team bronze medalist in the last World Championships in 2019 in Whistler, and a 5:17. That is their best run of the competition so far, best of the 3. And Manio started his career in the World Cup a couple of weeks ago in Whistler. And Jeff back on the World Cup circuit after a season away. So they move into the leaders box ahead of our Canadian duo, who can go and have a bit of a breather. Again, the athletes watching the replays, and Jeff, you're used to seeing video, but it's usually a dodgy iPad, and this is much better quality.
It's definitely a lot better. I miss having TV cameras. Makes everything look way better than an iPad.
And a crowd in the start house, that's the first time for you guys.
Yeah, it's always good to have that atmosphere, something we're used to on the line, so to bring it inside for this is great.
All right, guys, with the lead, and next up, the first of two Brazilian crews. So, again, these guys really brand new. So, Gustavo dos Santos Ferreira, the 20-year-old driver, youth Olympian in St. Moritz 2020, just done half a dozen two-man races in his career. And Rafael Sousa da Silva, his brakeman, a 26-year-old. Raced with Edson Bindliati over the last few seasons. So Jeff Gabois with the lead. Now these guys with a 5:10 first push and a 5:12 second push. They need to get down into single digits if they can. Are they going to hit it? 5:11 right in the middle. So they hold their advantage, 16 hundredths of a second. As the sled comes up to the top, again, all the noise, all the lights, the cameras and all the other stuff that does not happen in training. It does not look like this. So pretty decent hit again from our Brazilian duo. They take over in the leader's box. Well, congratulations, boys. I don't know how good your English is. How was that?
I'm not speaking so very well. Sorry.
Better than my Portuguese.
Yeah. Muito obrigado aí, meu parceiro aqui, Rex, vulgo Rex, ZVDG, Ice Brasil, time Brasil. Tamo junto. Obrigado aí pela torcida, todo mundo aí de casa. Bora torcer pro Ericão agora também. Bora.
All right, well, the football team may not have much to shout about, but the Brazilian bobsled teams do. And now we have our second crew, Eric Geronimo and Edison Martins. Martins, again, a brakeman for Edson Bindliati. And so too, Eric, the driver. They were both in the 2022 games with Bindliati. So great to see the Brazilian team. Edson Bindliati racing here last weekend, still competing, but the Brazilian team also splitting up into a whole new bunch of teams and drivers. So Brazil versus Brazil, who comes out on top? These guys, 5:04, 5:03, their teammates in the leader's box cheering them on as loudly as anybody else. 5 flat, that's a great start. That is a really, really good start. And that's their third push, their fastest of all. And to put that into context, 5 flat is what Seaman Friedley did in the first push with fresh legs. And there's a Brazilian party going on in the leader's box. So Brazil leads from Brazil. Brazil 1-2 with 3 sleds to go, 5 flat. That is a great start. All right, gentlemen, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How was the start? How did that feel?
I like the start. I was making a good push. Now rest for the second.
We'll see how the other boys go. At the line, Seaman Friedley. Seaman's first start was a 5 flat. So that's the kind of pressure he's under. 5 flat, 499. He has just 800s in hand over this team from Brazil. So this is for third place, Seaman Friedley of Switzerland. 2-time Olympian, 2018 brakeman for Rico Peter in Pyeongchang, drove his own sleds in 2022 in Beijing, and behind him, Sandro Michel, one of the fastest sets of legs in the Swiss program. Nothing in this, lots of noise at the top, really needs a big, big push. Friedley's in and down at a 496, their best of the competition. So they open up their advantage over the Brazilians. And they have the lead with 2 sleds to go. So they receive their congratulations from the Brazilian athletes as they move into the leaders box. Oh man. So studying the video accurately now. $4.96. Seaman, your best start. How tough is it doing 3 starts so quickly?
Heavy. For my old, it's heavy. But okay, it's a good competition.
And Sandro, it is tough, isn't it? I mean, it's only a short start, but you have to be pushing so hard.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially in the short time, but I think we managed it quite well. Last push was fastest, so let's hope this guy pushed a little bit slower.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. So, Chris Horn, Adrian Adams for the USA. Their advantage, 1/100th of a second. 1/100th in it. That is a dead heat. 4.96, 5.02. They need a 97. They need to match Friedli just to stay in front. What have they got? 96! 96! They match Friedli. They stay in front. Oh! The Swiss cannot believe that they have produced that. Man, that's a big push. Adrian Adams absolutely stoked. So the US crew have the lead. We'll get them in the leaders box. They can watch the replay. Well, this was it for the US crew. Go big or go home, and they went huge. 4.96. Adrian Adams, it is tough though, isn't it?
Yes, sir, definitely tough. The Swiss guys are some amazing pushers. Being Chris Horn over the past few years have been teammates as push athletes. We got a good, we gel well together, and I'm just happy to be able to come out here today and push with Chris, and it's a blessing, man. It's awesome.
And Chris, you ran that real deep.
I still got a little brakeman left in me.
Yeah, more than a little, I'd say. Okay, you are 1 sled and 2 minutes away, potentially from $1,000 each. We have the final sled still to come. So 1 to go. Whose names are going to get written? Oh, hang on a minute. No, we don't have a final sled. You do have a winner. I'm looking at the screen and there's 1 sled, but it's a scratch. So the winners are Chris Horn and Adrian Adams, in which case, let's get the flowers in there. Stop laughing. We're making this up as we go along. All right, we need I can't even see the timing screen from where I am, so you have to forgive this. First time for us, Chris Horn, Adrian Adams, our winners, the 2-man push world champions here in Lake Placid. Wow. Seaman Friedli, it was a late choice by him to join the competition. None of the Swiss were going to compete, and he was absolutely shocked that these 2 guys took the gold medal away. So, right guys, now that I've got my ducks in a row, come together a little bit, and we'll get you up on the ice in a minute or 2 for the photos. But I mean, what does this facility mean for US bobsled, for you guys?
It's pretty huge for us. I remember when I first came into the sport 4 years ago, all our practices were just out on the track racing. You know, get maybe like 3 pushes a day. When we come in here, get like 10, 12, 15 pushes a day, 5 days a week.
Well, hang on a minute, you said this was hard work. You're doing 15 a day, right? Get back out for another 12. But Adrian, I mean, you've been around the block a couple of times, and you go to the German tracks, and they've got a push track. You go to Calgary, and they had a push track. And did you always feel that there was like something just you were at a disadvantage because of that?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the guys, like you said, they have those ice tracks, and you know, we feel like we're at a disadvantage, but now, you know, we feel like we're at equal now because, as Chris stated, you know, we come in here and we get tons of pushes together, and it's awesome, man. We're very thankful because, you know, coming to the sport myself, you always hear it's a possibility, we get an ice track, and Schamer and them, they're like, you know, we heard the same thing for years and it never happened. But man, we're very thankful to have the ice facility now to, you know, do all our training and such.
Well, congratulations, gentlemen. You made the best of it. You made the best noise in the house and the fastest runs as well. So fantastic stuff. Chris Horn and Adrian Adams are two-man push champions. And yeah, Simon Friedli and Sandro Michel just 100th back. But look at those young Brazilian teams. Two brand new lineups, third and fourth. Fantastic stuff from them as well. And that is where we end the competition for this evening. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 6 local time here, and we will have women's skeleton, and then we will have the women's 2-seat bob and the 4-man bobsled. So some tired legs will be back in action tomorrow.
Caiu,